My name is Katerina. I'm a project manager in Halo Lab. I have been working as an IT project manager for almost 2 years, and I have had various projects from small ones to big ones where we have a lot of teammates and communicate not only in the team but also with the client and with the client's team. So I will be starting my report, or I would like to say it will be more like discussion or any kind of like observations, sharing my experience. And to start, of course, I want to present you my topic. It is about screen-to-screen trust. Basically, it is more about any issues that we face when we work remotely. I think this topic is quite relevant for the IT companies because in most cases we are all over the world. We are using our devices and in our modern world, face-to-face communication is becoming like less and less popular, especially in the work process. Why I have decided to choose this topic is very relevant to me, and I think to everyone who actually works with people. So I hope it will be useful and at least interesting for you. So let's start. Here you can see the plan of our presentation, what we are going to discuss. First of all, as usual, the definition and the importance of communication. Also, some helpful tips to make your communication effective. Also, I will show a few barriers, I think, familiar to everyone, and some of the strategies that you will be able to use to deal with them. And the first part is about communication ethics and quite a new and modern word, etiquette. Yes, it is from etiquette, but connected with networks. And in the end, I hope we will have time, like 10-15 minutes for Q&A session. So what I want to say, if you have any questions, please, you are welcome to ask them during the presentation, but you can wait till the end and there will be time to discuss anything you want. And also be prepared for some kind of interaction because there are some things that I want to discuss directly with you. So let's start. And what we start with is some kind of interaction. Please look at the two definitions of the communication. The first one is taken from the Encyclopedia Britannica, and the second one is the Cambridge Dictionary. And please let me know in the chat which one you prefer more and why. Also, yeah, I see the second is like more popular among people. Okay, we have more detailed question that it's not always about meanings, that it is more productive. Okay, so we have the winner. I think it is the second one. I totally agree with your choice about the second definition, and I can tell you why. You can see that the first one is about the exchange. So it's like we transfer the information from one side to another, and it is like more about movement of information or about meanings or something like this. But I would like to point out the second part of the second definition, that actually the main purpose of communication is not only to transfer the information between us, but to increase understanding each other. And I think like a small summing up of all my presentation to you is basically, I think that in most cases, we just forget about the understanding part. Yes, we transfer information, but we do not pay enough attention to if it is understood by another side. And at the same time, we can get the information from someone, and not always it is like checked that we understood it correctly. So that's why I think it is like the main reason for me to do this presentation and to share my experience. Let's move further. Concerning the importance and the role of the communication in the project success. As you can see, I have found some interesting survey made by the company Project Co, which is specialized on the communication tools. And as you can see, the consequences of poor communication. In this case, we have the most is wasted time, and I think you will agree with that. But let's not forget about individual consequences such as burnout, stress, and fatigue. And of course, poor communication can impact not only the inner ecosystem of the team, yes, but also can lead to lost employees and lost customers to competitors. So as you can see, communication is crucial to project success. And just if the statistics is not enough for you, I suggest like answering, maybe it is more like rhetorical questions. First of all, is it possible to complete the project without communication? I think like in my head, I can't imagine it, because even if we are speaking about individual projects that we call usually pet projects, anyway, you have any type of communication because you get information from different sources, and it's communication too. And concerning the second question, is it possible to complete the project without effective communication? And here, I would like to see your answers. Do you think it is possible to complete the project without effective communication? So we have the answer that the process might not be so effective. The result might be not good, though. The process will be horrible. So I agree with you that the answer is yeah, it is possible. But, and as we have all those buts here, yes, we speak about a lot of consequences that can be, and we understand that it is impossible to complete the successful project without effective communication, because there is going to be so many obstacles on our way that will, I don't know, it can stop, it can make it more difficult. So just to move on, depending on what we mean by complete, I see just one answer. So a small definition of the complete project, yes, every project can be started and it can be completed. The completed project is the project that achieved its goals, yes, like we have the goals of the project, and when we achieve them, we actually can find it complete. So moving to the question of the effective communication and actually what we can do to make our communication more effective, there is a simple technique that is called 7 C's of communication. And here, I hope you see it well, because I really like this image, but I didn't like the quality of it. So what I offer you to do, again, small interaction, there are incorrect examples, and we have 7 C's. Yes, it is clearness, conciseness, concreteness, correctness, consideration, completeness, and courtesy. Let's start with the first one. Clearness. The report needs some adjustments. What would you correct here? Yes, like what would you change here? If you have any ideas concerning the next ones, I think you can suggest them too, because we have 7 of them. And just to, if you don't want to, wait till the end, you can suggest your ideas. So let's pay attention to the word clearness. Yes, so something should be clear. If we tell the report needs some adjustments, is it clear? First, ideas. So we have it needed to write which changes exactly are needed and what adjustments. Yes, where. It is totally right. So here I will show you. So it is like some kind of correct example, but for sure we know in our work even this example wouldn't be totally correct, because basically what we are speaking about, like technical tasks, yes, it should be like clear to us what we need to do, yes, what to change, what to adjust, what to fix, or what to implement. Concerning the conciseness, in order to meet the project deadline, we need everyone to work extra hours this week. What do you think? What is wrong? Conciseness. Do you see any issue in this message? A small tip for you. If we are speaking about conciseness, it's about to make your messages not overloaded with different verbal techniques, and because in most cases when we use a lot of very wide phrases, idioms or something like this, it can mislead, it can confuse. So as a result, I see no answer, so I will show the correct. To meet the deadline, everyone needs to work extra hours this week. In this case, you can see that it is like we don't need to use that amount of words to actually give the information. Yes, we can basically use simple words, and it is like no need to make it more loaded with something, like with some difficult words or difficult phrases. The next one is about correctness. We have here maybe not a very good contrast. I will read. Sales have been doing pretty well lately. What is wrong? Like, what would you change here? If we are speaking about concreteness, yes. And I think specifically if we are speaking about sales and sales results and any type of the I have one of the suggestions lately. What period of time? It's good. I totally agree with you. So lately, it is unclear. Yes, no concreteness here. What does it mean lately? And I would like to say that it is very good direction where to move. So concreteness in the areas when we not even can, but when we have to give any concrete information, some kind of facts, mostly connected with statistics. Yes, we need, when we have the reports, we need to use the language of numbers. We can't avoid it. So in this case, our sales have increased by 15% in the past quarter. It is the correct version because we have here the concrete information. The next one, correctness. They're going to meet us at the conference. And the small tip here is like, if you know English grammar well, you will see the issue here. Yeah, that's true. They are. So they are going, and imagine you are getting a message full of spelling mistakes, because if we are speaking about there and they are, in this case, it is a total spelling mistakes that is connected with grammar. And will it be clear for you what the sender wanted to tell you? Of course not. So correctness, and it should be one of the main characteristics, I think, is to use the correct words and the correct grammar. Consideration. I don't care about your opinion on this matter. Would you like to get such a message from someone that they don't care about your opinion on this matter? Yeah, it is rude. So specifically, as we are speaking about, no, I just want to tell this, not this way. We need to respect the receiver, yes, and we want to be respected. So not only in our daily life, but also on the workplace, the respect and consideration is one of the points that we need to pay attention to. And even if you are not interested in the idea, or you just, you just don't want to do something, it doesn't mean that you need to answer in a rude manner. You can say, I understand your perspective and I would like to hear more about it. Or you can choose, any other phrase to deal with it. But the main idea is to be nice, to be polite, and to consider the other side. Completeness. The next, and we have only 2 left, and we will move to the next part. Completeness. Please prepare the report. What is wrong here? I would like to say that it is very close to the first one about the clearness. But what is wrong here comparing to that? Completeness, yes. So remember, we have the word complete, yes. Can we say that this message is complete? Yeah, deadline for the report, as an example. So, it is not completed, yes. Prepare the report. What report? What is the deadline? What should be in this report? I would like to say that clearness and completeness, they are quite close, yes, but sometimes I think we could get some kind of such, sometimes we can get such tasks that do something, yes, and that's all. But it looks like uncompleted questions or uncompleted messages. So here we have the correct example is, please prepare the report by including the financial analysis. And the last, we have courtesy, also quite close to consideration, yes. And here we have one more rude example. You are wrong and I don't have time for this. Yeah. So as we paid attention in the consideration part, it's good to respect. Yes, it's good to respect the other side and to respect their ideas. Courtesy is actually okay. We see here such a very detailed example. Let's schedule a meeting later to discuss aspects that concern me about your approach. It will be quite funny if I open and it will be totally the same. No. But here, I appreciate your input. Let's discuss this further. Yes. So you don't actually, not always you need to find time right at the moment to talk about something, but to be polite. Yes. I would like just to correct myself a little bit. If consideration is about something that we do not reject the other side, yes, we show that we respect the other side. Courtesy, it's more about politeness and about our manners. So I hope those tips will be useful for you and you will use the 7 C's methods method in the future. And let's move to the next part. And the next part is about the communication challenges. So I have made some kind of list of them. We are not going to have, like a lot of them. I had selected, I would like to say, the most important of them. So first that I would like to highlight is when we have team, when we have specifically a big team, and when we have unclear responsibility of each member, how it can impact our communication and our results. First of all, we don't know who can solve an issue. Not always it is clear for the team members who they can ask for solution, because some of the questions can require some specific expertise. And if we don't have a person who is specialized, or we haven't defined the person specialized on those matters, then we have another issue to face, is that we don't know who is responsible for decision-making process. Yes, because we can have a person to solve an issue, and we need also a person who can look through the solutions and make a decision that we follow one of them. So sometimes it can be a one person, to tell the truth, for sure. Yes, it can be, but it is like one of the issues. And the third, and I think it is like the worst can be, it is avoidance of responsibility. Like when we have specifically big teams and when we have unclear responsibilities, it is likely that the members will be avoiding this responsibility. And as a result, our issues, they won't be solved, or they will be solved very badly. Yes. And in this case, my suggestions what to do is, like, first of all, like what we usually do in the beginning of every project is, for sure, it is stakeholder analysis. We have specific metrics to do it. But in some cases, for example, specifically if we are talking about projects that are in startup companies and there is no specific person for each position, and some of them people need to cover the duties, the tasks of various positions, the boundaries between the responsibilities, they become more and more blurred. So what I want to tell here is about areas of responsibility definition. What I mean, sometimes it is just needed to have, a call, or maybe to create a document or something like this, and basically to make a list of responsibility of each member to understand who is responsible for what. It can seem to be quite a simple solution, and I agree. I'm not going to give you, some very difficult solutions, but sometimes to fix something in the documentation or on the paper or somewhere, it is an essential step to get to the consensus. So it is like after you define your responsibilities, it will be clear for everyone who can solve this specific issue, who can make decision concerning this specific issue, and as a result, we will minimize the avoidance of responsibility. The next is lack of emotions, and I think it can be quite familiar for all of you, is that I think most of our communication is written nowadays. We are using different chats. We do not meet our colleagues in the offices, so we don't have this face-to-face communication. And the results of it can be, first of all, is misinterpretation of the messages. Yes, you can start reading between the lines where it's not needed. So a person can send a message with you with one mood, and you can read it with totally another mood, and it can be perceived totally differently. The second is loneliness. So when you are not surrounded by people, it's clear that it can be lonely. But what is more, when you are not surrounded by people, when you are just looking into your laptop or computer and you see only the screen and you see only the list of your tasks, as a result, you can feel left alone with those tasks. And as a result, it can lead to team unbuilding. Yes, so we can feel that we are isolated from each other, that we don't have this face-to-face communication, and the team is basically not the team, but just some kind of a chat with people who work on their tasks. So what I suggest to do in this case is, first of all, daily communication in chat. I think it is essential to keep chats alive and to discuss work questions, and not only work questions in chat. Sometimes it is needed to share, this piece of humor to cheer up your colleagues, to discuss the last movie you have seen or something like this. So first of all is to be right with your team. Second is regular non-working meetings. What I'm talking about, we can have daily meetings. Yes, we can have some weekly meetings to discuss specific progress, specific issues or something like this. But it is a good idea to spend 1 hour a week, maybe 1 hour in 2 weeks, just to have quite nice meeting with your teammates. Also, it can be just discussion of something, or it can be I have practiced on one of my projects. We have had team non-working meetings for an hour, maybe an hour and a half in 2 weeks, just to play some games, to discuss something. And it worked really well, because you just see your teammates, you feel the connection. And let's not forget about retrospectives, especially retrospectives in a long project, in the end of each sprint, or it can be less frequent, once a month. Why retrospective can be helpful here? It is a very good opportunity for the teammates to basically synchronize on the issues that you face on the project. Yes, just to check if an issue you are facing, if your teammates are facing the same issue, yes, or are there any other issues that you have, or synchronize on the positive side of the project too, yes, to emphasize some strong sides of the project. And of course, retrospectives can be helpful in that way that this information can be collected and used in the communication with the client to discuss the solutions, yes, to discuss what we need to focus on to help the project proceed successfully. And the last point here is one-to-one calls. I think it is a common practice for sure. Why they're good? It is a good practice in that case, especially that is connected with loneliness. A good case when you can discuss issues with your manager or with your HR manager, that you worry about something, where you want to grow, what you want to do in the future. Basically, any questions that worry you. Yes. And I think it is essential on every project to make it clear that there is a channel, a safe channel for teammates to actually give their feedbacks and worries, to basically talk about not even project issues, but their own. I'm not speaking about personal because it's for sure your choice. But when you are facing any difficulties or you are not meeting the deadlines, it's essential to have a safe channel with your manager when you can explain and where you can discuss how to move on, how to actually solve the situation. Okay, let's move to the next one. It is about conflicts. So I would like to say that it is logical one that can be after lack of emotions, conflicts. We can't avoid them. It's impossible to avoid conflicts. And I would like to say that conflicts are actually quite helpful, can be helpful for the project. And those can be the conflicts not only in the team, but for example, the conflicts with a client. I totally agree, they can be stressful, but I would like to say that what conflicts are harmful, yes, what can have negative consequences. So first of all, when we have criticism, but not constructive criticism, but the one that is more personal and focused on some attributes of a person, not of their result, not of their actions in specific situations. Yes, and of course, when we have some personal insults, it can lead to a huge conflict. The second thing is unregulated conflicts. It is good practice to have a conflict mediator, a person who is neutral, who is objective, who is not going to take any side and can find the reason of a conflict and can see what steps can be done to actually to finish this conflict. And of course, it is good, I think, for managers to be able to develop the skills of the conflict mediators. And as I mentioned here on the slide, the worst conflict, I think, it is a conflict without consensus, without finish, when we don't have the agreement, when we don't have any result of this conflict. So to have infinite conflicts, they will bring new conflicts in your team. So it is better to basically lead every conflict to the consensus. So here, what I suggest is first the transparency. Transparency to your clients, transparency to your team. It should be clear for the client what you are working on, what is going on, are there any issues, are there any difficulties? Because if we don't talk about them, and then we face with the consequences of those difficulties, as a result, the client becomes even more angry and more shocked when they hear about those issues in the future. And basically, they can be angry with it. The same situation with the team. If you are not transparent with the team, it also can lead to the conflict that you didn't mention any specific information. Yes, you didn't mention any specific feedback from the client. So as quite often project managers are those mediators between the client and the team, it is crucial for us to keep this information transferring process as transparent as possible. The next is clear feedback channels, is basically to make it clear for your client how they can share their feedback. Quite often I just tell, please leave the feedback in Figma, because it is clear, it is the best solution for us, because we just look at our designs, for example, and we see your feedback right on our designs. And clear feedback channels for team, so it is clear for them when and where they can share their feedback about your job, about the job of their teammates. Currently, we have such a very good platform as a Team Garden, which I think is great. But also, it is essential to remember that the retrospective that I have mentioned before is also a good option of a clear feedback channel, because as we discuss any issues, we can give the feedback to our teammates to tell what they need to improve, what they need to work on. And for sure, if we are speaking about giving feedback, we need to give it like constructively. Yes, don't forget about constructive criticism, but this is something I would like to tell a little bit later. And the last I have here conflict resolution techniques. There are many of them. And I think there should be, like a separate presentation to talk about it. But for sure, it is really essential, first of all, to define, to see the conflict, and then to choose any technique that you find most appropriate to resolve it. Going back to constructing criticism, a small reminder what it means to make your criticism constructive and not destructive. First of all, your intention to help the recipient improve. Yes, if you want to insult or embarrass, it means that you want to use destructive criticism. Also, don't forget about positive attitude. Even if we have the feedback that is formed to emphasize some weak sides, it doesn't mean that it should be rude. And let's move back to consideration and courtesy. Yes, so it should be positive attitude. Don't emphasize individual personal attributes. Talk about specific situations, specific behavior, specific actions. Yes, and also, if we are speaking about the logical ending of our feedback, of our constructive criticism, is something that is actionable, something doable, feasible. Because if you give the feedback that intends to make the receiver thinking, how can I do this, then it's not constructive at all. So let's move to the next one. And I think this one can be I think it is the one that was mentioned in our general chat. It is about language. And language can be a communication challenge, or even I would like to say barrier. Yes, because barrier, it is even the best word to use here. Not only in the context when we don't have quite high level of our language, but also in the cases when we have people to talk to with specific accents. Also, don't forget about jargons. Yes, because specialized terminology can be clear, for example, to your team, but when you use jargon to talk about something with a client, it can confuse very much. And here I have also mentioned native versus non-native. It also matters, because native speakers can have their specific slang that they can use and can be unclear to you. Yes, and at the same time, non-native can also use some words that are very specific to the region where they are located. So my tips for you: rule number 1, don't focus on that you don't understand something. I mean, don't feel guilty. It's okay not to understand someone. Sometimes it is difficult to understand someone in your native language. So don't think that it is something wrong with you, but try to focus on any way to understand the person. I mean, like to help yourself and help the other person to give you the information that you need. So clarify during the meetings. You can ask, I think, as many questions as possible. You can use follow-up messages in the end of the calls or follow-up emails just to make sure to confirm that everything is correct. And don't forget to practice any of the foreign language that you use. And concerning clarification, there is a list of phrases that I can recommend you to use specifically during video calls. So, for example, in this case, if you don't hear well, and specifically when we are speaking about bad, these difficult accents, it's okay to ask the person to speak more slowly. Like, don't worry. It's not something that you will be ashamed of. Yes. And also some phrases. I think you will be able to see those phrases like in record, or I can show you the link to my presentation, and you will see, and you can get them if you need. But actually, it is like top 5, I would like to say. But if you Google, you will find even more. And the last one is about cultural diversity. It is more about working in the international teams. And quite often you can face different situations that you can be confused of, because it is unclear for you why person behaves this way. Yes. But in most cases, it really depends on the cultural features. And there is, I think, if we are speaking about business communication, it is like, the whole chapter to talk about concerning cultural features. And time zones. It's something that we are facing every day in our company, because we have the clients all over the world. And it is, I think, what can be, it is like the first thing to do is to make clear to the client what is your time zone and why you can't answer them when it is their morning or their afternoon. Yes, but of course time zones can be quite unhelpful. So what I suggest is boost your cultural awareness. Be curious about other cultures, how they do business, how they pay attention to the hierarchy, or it can be some kind of even communication, because in some countries it is more common to have more video calls. In some countries it is more common to have more written communication. And in this case, you need to understand how to adjust to it to make it comfortable for you and for your receiver, for sure. And of course, time management is like something that we can't avoid at all. For sure, if we're speaking about time zones, time management, and to understand where it is better to share the information, maybe in somewhere forecast, yes, to understand like if what time we need to connect to solve the issue. I agree that it is some kind of a quest, yeah, but without quest, our life won't be as interesting as it is. So it was about communication challenges. And the last part of my speech, and I would like to say as quick and as informative as I can be, but I can't avoid it. It's about etiquette. So don't forget that even if we are having a video call, it means that we communicate anyway. And as we have etiquette in our daily life, communicating face to face, anyway, we need to follow rules of the etiquette during not only video calls, but in our messages and emails too. So pay attention that it will be great, and I think something to take as your rule. First of all, make sure the purpose of the call. Like use the agenda, use even just message, to make it clear for everyone why we are having this call. Be punctual. Here, a small comment. I understand that sometimes you can be late, but please inform your team that you are going to be late, because sitting and waiting, it's not very pretty experience. Before using any tools for video calls, please check if you have them downloaded, if they work well, if your microphone and camera are connected. Also follow the dress code. Also, of course, I'm not speaking about, like wearing suits or something like this, but it would be great to have something, smart, casual, at least on the upper part of your body, because the lower part maybe will be unseen. But to have a video call in something that you would wear on the beach, of course, not very good idea. Try to use your camera as much as possible. I would follow even the rule, if you see that the person you are having a call with uses their camera, use it too, because it is quite impolite to, you are using camera, you are showing yourself, and the person you are talking to is like hiding somewhere. So better to use your camera. Consider time zones, as I mentioned before. Use group chat sensibly. What I mean is there are work questions and there are personal questions. And of course, it's better to divide them and to discuss work questions in the group chats, and personal questions, for example, about vacations, sick leaves, any other difficulties that you can face. It's better to discuss personally. Use emojis carefully. I like emojis. I use them I think in every my message, but my idea to use them carefully, because not always using some kind of hearts specifically with the clients is a good idea, because it can be perceived as too much affection or something like this. So try with something simple, and then if you see that it is more or less allowed, add some more to your messages. And don't forget to stay professional. So what I'm talking about here is how you communicate, how you speak with people, how you explain your ideas. And of course, when we are speaking about any bad words, sometimes they can be needed, but they shouldn't be the rule of your communication. And for sure, if we are speaking about some don'ts of our remote communication, is the first one is to schedule a lot of calls with no purpose. No purpose for any question. Some questions can be discussed in a written way. So and calls can take a lot of time, So in some cases, better to analyze and to choose. Multitask during calls, for sure, for your teammates or for any person who you are having a video call. It's not very polite way to to listen and to type something, or specifically check your phone as a next point. Also, it is better to mute when you aren't speaking. So just try to control your microphone. Don't leave the call without notifying, because even if you're having a big call with a big group, and it can seem to be unnoticed, but for sure you can be asked a little bit later, and if you haven't informed that you are leaving, then it will be not very pretty. Don't have meals during the calls. There can be exceptions when we're speaking about calls dedicated to have meals. It's okay, but to chew something talking to client, not a good idea. Don't use a few messages to send one reply. Try to send it as a whole. Also connected with time zone and working hours. Don't ask for something urgent when we are speaking about off hours. Don't expect people to answer. And of course, proofread all your messages and emails before sending them, because there can be sometimes confusing things. Sometimes they can be funny for sure, but of course it won't help your communication at all. So here is the summary. First of all, use the 7C method. Define areas of responsibility. Don't avoid, or I would like to say, choose any opportunity to keep in touch with your team. The worst conflict, as I mentioned, are unresolved ones. Don't be afraid of difficult accents, or I would like to say, don't be afraid of language barriers. They can be, you can overcome them. Also, boost your cultural awareness, and don't forget about remote communication etiquette, or netiquette as it is called now. Finally, we are having a question and answer session. So please let me know if you have any questions or any, things that you would like to discuss. I think we will have a few minutes to talk about. Unfortunately, my presentation appeared to be a little bit too long. Okay, so helpful what to do if PM doesn't respond to my messages for days. So first of all, I would like to say, as a PM, sometimes you get lost in messages. Unfortunately, it happens, and because you get messages from all the sides. And first of all, don't hesitate to tag. To pin in the Slack, for example, or any other messenger, your PM, and ask, say, I need your answer here. I can't basically proceed without it. And for sure, if such a situation blocks you, you can ask for a call, one-to-one call, and to discuss this issue, to share your worries that you don't feel comfortable with such a situation. Because if you're speaking about project management, we always need to be adjustable. In some cases, we need to participate in the project more. In some cases, it is not required. Yes, so if you need the help of the project manager, you can even start with direct message, personal message, to tell, please answer my question. If it is not solving, I suggest having a one-to-one call to discuss what you can do with it. Okay, so I see. Great. So if there are any questions to me, thank you for your attention, for being here, for participating in my presentation, and I hope to see you again. Thank you.